Hey, today the CEO claims that things fell through the cracks because a good portion of the developers were on break. There's also a brand new voice pack and stratagem coming to Helldivers 2. We'll also talk about the newest major order and more. If you find this video helpful or informative at any point, tap the like button below, subscribe, and turn on notifications for all. We're going to start off by discussing a post that was created by Jorjani, and he essentially said that the patch failed because they have not done a great job at aligning everybody to the project. The post can be seen here, and Sham said, "Inconsistencies you see are because we aren't doing a good job enough of aligning everyone working on the project on new directives. Mistakes are made." There's a player that saw this message and questioned if this was a failure of leadership to align the team, and felt that their communication problems in the studio are due to this. To which Shams replied back with, "Absolutely, yes, I thought we had improved over the summer, but with 30 to 50% of the studio away, things fell through the cracks, being super transparent here." This right here is probably why they should have focused on performance and bugs more than anything while some of the developers were on break, because clearly it's either communication issues within Arrowhead or it was simply due to the summer break and, having the developers go in and out. I don't think it was a wise choice to develop an update while some of the developers were gone, and plus the fact that it was hyped up as being the biggest update yet when there were some underwhelming features. For example, the egg or CPU that you can extract only rewards you with 4 rare samples and 2 super samples. When Pillistead claimed in the developer update video that he said, quote, "If you manage to do so, there will be great rewards waiting for you," unquote. However, this was untrue, and the rewards were lackluster. I would have liked it if there was something like you claim a certain amount of eggs and you can use those eggs to receive armor, super credits, or something, right? Yet instead, we just received a low amount of samples, which was a bit depressing to see. I actually photoshopped some things together, and I think something like a bi-weekly democratic reward system would be really cool to see. So the way I imagine it would go, we would claim the eggs or CPUs, then we could use those eggs to purchase 3 different items or more. The whole idea of it being bi-weekly would allow them to update the items every 2 weeks with something new. I feel like this would allow a lot of players to grind it out and at least have something to look forward to. Not only that, it would not be too taxing on the developer's time to just add a few new items every 2 weeks. Anyways, as you can see, things have gone off the rails over at Arrowhead, and they have been receiving a lot of negative feedback, rightfully so, and the Steam reviews are looking worse as the days go by. Yet, there's some good news here, or bad news depending on the way you take it. Sony is allowing players on PlayStation to write reviews and rate it as well, as you can see here. I have a good feeling this might not end well for Arrowhead, because not only are they going to have to worry about reviews syncing on Steam, but they will also have to be worrisome about the PlayStation Store reviews as well. So things are about to get worse if the developers continue to go down the path they are currently going down. On that note, with the nerfing and whatnot, there's a Reddit user who claims that Arrowhead is known for nerfing and this is how they operate. The post at the time was downvoted, to which another player reposted it on Reddit, and there's a ton of upvotes. Nonetheless, the original poster said, "For anyone surprised by the nerfs, don't be. This is how Arrowhead operates. They will continue to arbitrarily make the game harder, more frustrating, and then act surprised when the game dies. They've pulled this kind of thing ever since Magicka. Do you think moderators bullying players about the railgun nerf existed in a vacuum, or that he got in trouble for doing it? No, Arrowhead have been known to celebrate community outcry, and that mod was demoted for saying the quiet part out loud." With this post right here, if things continue to get worse, I don't think the Helldivers 2 community is ever going to trust the developers again. I know some are upset about the nerfing, but if I can be quite frank, I don't think the nerfing is upsetting me as much as the damn crashing issues as of late. I've crashed consistently back to back, which is not fun at all. I can always use different builds, like the sickle with a crisper, and maybe a supply backpack as well. However, there's no way to stop the crashing issues. I feel like the main problem is actually trying to play the game, not the builds that were nerfed, and I get it, the nerfs sucked, but the crashing is way worse in my opinion. They need to resolve this as soon as possible with the next hotfix that is supposedly arriving sometime soon. The sad part about this whole situation is that the developers have basically placed themselves in an echo chamber. With that aside, there's a player who said that Jorjani speaks out of both of his mouths like a politician. The CEO replied and explained on the Discord exactly what Helldivers 2 is supposed to be like, and he replied with, Helldivers 2 was conceived as a third-person action game with a lot of milsim influences, milsim games, Arma, Tarkov, etc. Obviously achieve fun in other ways than Halo or COD do. For instance, the way we handle reloading is similar to milsim games. Reload and the whole mag is spent, not just the rounds that you shot. This balanced milsim reference is now, once the game is out, being put to the test, you raise great points about fun, and I agree with you, that less ammo of the IB isn't as fun, but where's the right balance? Would 5 times the mag size be more fun? 10 times? Would the same be true for Arma? Probably not. So where does that leave us for HD2? I want Johan to come and explain this to me, you and the rest of our design team, about how we're achieving our fun. Someone asked us for our mission statement, and I think we did an okay job of clarifying that in an earlier blog post. The one that could have been better, I don't have a specific answer or a defense of one path over the other to achieve fun, but that Helldivers needs design leadership come and be present and do this for us. That's what I'm working on behind the scenes. My only issue with the statement is that the game is supposed to have realistic features like you just mentioned with the reloading and magazines, except when it comes to some aspects of the game like anti-tank mines. It's quite unrealistic. For instance, it's called an anti-tank mine because it's supposed to affect tanks. However, it does nothing to tanks. It's practically useless and should be called an anti-charger mine, as that's the only use for it. Not only is it useless for tanks, but it can also be activated by smaller enemy types. If it were realistic, this would not happen. The amount of weight it takes to ignite an anti-tank mine is anywhere from 350 to 400 pounds, which is quite a lot. I wouldn't imagine these smaller enemies would weigh anywhere close to that. So overall, they've practically made all the stratagem mines useless. What they need to do is reduce the cooldown, for one, and make some of the mines more useful and not useless. I like how Arrowhead have said that they look at the data to see which weapons or stratagems are used less often, but how come they didn't do anything with the mines? I would imagine these stratagem mines are one of the most unused stratagems in the game besides these smoke stratagems. Hopefully things get better. It's hard to think that it will get better because of all the decisions that have been made as of late. Now, let's discuss something different like leaks. If you do not want to see any leaks or you do not enjoy leaks or data mine items, please skip ahead. There's timestamps below that will help you out with that. The first item on the list is going to be the Orbital Napalm Barrage. Before I showcase this clip, some of you may have seen the stratagem in use before because it was revealed during the developer stream on Steam. Anyways, a Discord member named Asunder and another member named Rat Invasion in 5 seconds uploaded a clip of the Orbital Napalm Barrage. The first clip is from Asunder and the second one is from Rats. My first impressions on the stratagem are that it will be quite effective on bugs, and I totally like the idea of an Orbital Napalm Barrage, but I think it would be even cooler to see an Orbital Elemental Barrage, which would have an explosive missile, then napalm, then stun, and lastly toxic gas as well. So it would sort of rotate. I think that would be the coolest stratagem and would be useful on both cyborgs and bug missions because you would have different types of elements to it, right? Now with that leak aside, the last and final one will be the new voice pack that's going to be arriving soon. What you're about to hear are different Helldiver callouts for the Illuminate. This was revealed on Helldivers 2 leak, Discord by Tier 5 NPC. And what I'll do here is let you listen to all the audio, and you'll catch me towards the end, and I'll just give my final thoughts on it.
Illuminate. Squid warp gate. Illuminate teleporting in. Squids! Squids! Squid outpost! Squid outpost! Spotted! Illuminate artifact acquired. Artifact collected. Deploying flare. Decreased visibility. Should help obscure our movements. Additional extraction point located. Requesting fortifications. Fortifications. Alien wildlife found. Assessment. Adorable. Dangerous wildlife. Run!
I've got to say the last one where the Helldiver was screaming run is so hilarious. The new voice lines are crazy good, and I imagine the other voice options are going to be updated soon, sometime in the near future. That is when the Illuminates are finally announced. Also, if you missed it, there's a voice line that talks about additional extraction points, so maybe there are going to be alternative ways to extract. I would like to see an extraction point mainly for samples. That would be cool. Instead of a pelican coming through to pick you up, there would be a hell pod that lands. You throw in the samples, and the hell pod would have some sort of way of sending itself back up to space. I'd love to see something like that at some point. Moving onwards, we have a new major order, galactic map update, and a new briefing as well. First off, the galactic map is looking super weird right now because the top right looks a bit odd as of late because of the gloom that is spreading outwards. I have a good feeling that the planet that's currently covered by the gloom is going to be a super colony planet, and if you do not know what that planet is, it's Diaspora X. It's crazy to think we destroyed a Meridia so that the bugs could create another super colony somewhere else. The briefing talks a little bit about the gloom. For instance, right here it says, "The mysterious gloom appears to be accelerating terminate expansions to new planets. This is threatening, but we do not have the luxury of keeping our focus in one place. The efforts of the Helldivers have nearly reclaimed our lands from the automatons' avaricious territorial annexation. A pocket of 2 isolated planets remain, Trist and Vandalin 4. They are vulnerable, and we must liberate them now before the machines find a way to reinforce their position. If we allow them to remain much longer, their defenses will increase significantly. Our enemies, they can divide us with simultaneous threats, but the Helldivers are more capable of fighting on 2 fronts at once. They will wield the Hammer of Justice and the Shield of Freedom with equal alacrity. Free our systems from the automatons and limit the unnatural spread of the terminates to new planets." Well, now we have the choice to officially end the Trigon sector with only 2 planets left to liberate and 5 terminate attacks to defend to complete the newest major order. It's probably the easiest MO we've ever received, I think anyways. However, it seems the automatons are trying to beeline by making a straight path to Super Earth. Some have suggested in the comments on X that we should just let the automatons take Super Earth, and yeah, that's crazy, but it's also funny to see how nerfs and bugs can force a Helldiver to be so undemocratic. But I will say that I kind of felt that way after I was launched way up in the air while I was inside of my mech, which is just nuts. I mean, to me it was. And I mean, I launched so far out of the map that I survived, for one, and second off, I was a traitor after being launched so far out of the map. I survived, I was able to roam around, and then my team left. So really, thankfully, I only had about 3 samples or something like that, so it was not a lot. But I know a lot of you out here have had this happen to you, but you were not inside the mech, and you lost all of your samples. So yeah, they absolutely need to fix the Impaler as soon as possible because this stuff right here is ridiculous. Now, I did enjoy it because it was kind of hilarious, but at the same time, I'm thinking, how is this even possible? Like, did they test this? Did they try out anything? I mean, that is the biggest question, I feel like, when it comes down to the Impaler and all the other different enemy types they have added. Did they test any of it? But I mean, does it even matter now? Because they're going to do test servers soon, so hopefully that does fix any issues that will pop up in the future. So who really knows if they do test it? But yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed the video. This is your Helldivers 2 news. If you guys would like to be featured in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below. The first comment is by Sealance Potter 2110. I don't trust them anymore, only believe when it is really done. Which, that's fair to say, honestly. The second comment is by Wolf Hunter 1267-1. Reset all weapons back to the way they were at launch. Spear users starts shaking. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Let's not do that. Let's absolutely not do that. I totally forgot about the spear. And on top of that, there's a bunch of other stratagems I forgot about that they made adjustments to. So hopefully they do not do that unless they keep all the positive changes, right? And last but not least, we have Deli Apollo. Test servers are also shields against Krashenko and his incompetency. There's the top 3 comments from the previous video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe, turn on the notifications, and make sure you also comment below and tell me what you think about the video and everything we've talked about. And with that, thank you again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.